Hey, what is happening, fellow do-it-yourselfers? It's Scott. Welcome back to OG DIY. And I'm back in the garage. We're going to do a front brake service, new brake pads, for the 2017 Lexus LX. Now, recently on the channel, I put a front brake inspection and rear brake pad replacement for this same vehicle. And I said at the time, I said, you know, there's enough wear left on those front pads. I'm going to let it go 10,000 miles. But I gave it some thought and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just go ahead and replace those fronts. I'd like to see how they wear down at the same time with the rears and see if they wear at a similar rate. Let's take a look at the tools and supplies it will take to get this job done. All right, so first thing we got to get the wheel off, and then we're going to pull the calipers off so we can replace these brake pads. Make sure you hang your caliper and you don't stress and strain or crack the brake line. You'll need to clean some things up along the way. Make sure you grease those pins that hold the calipers. Got some protection stuff here for your eyes, for your hands. Clean up, probably do a little brushing on the calipers themselves, and then you'll need a torque wrench in order to torque those caliper bolts appropriately. In my case, I got a 310 floor jack here I'm going to use. I'm going to get it up on jack stands, and we'll yank that front wheel off. Start with the passenger front first, and away we go. So for a 200 series LandCruiser or LX, you can use this frame rail right here as a jacking point. So I'm gonna put my floor jack right here, and then I'm gonna put a jack stand right next to it in close proximity, and we'll get her up in the air. Got the jack stand in there. Let's just take the weight off of the jack, because we're going to use that to take the droop out of the front wheel. There we go. All right, let's get this wheel off. I've taken the droop out of the wheel by putting the floor jack up underneath the lower A-arm. And I had just the tire just touching, just so I could take those lug nuts off. Now we'll take it up a little higher so we can remove the tire. Okay. So actually that pad right there, the visible wear bar, it's a little valley, is nearly gone. So we're going to take this out because that'll be replaced from the kit. There's another one back here that's replaced from the kit. Just so we're clear, you're not undoing these bolts. It's this bolt back here, and there's one right down here at the bottom as well. These are the caliper bolts. And then we're just going to hang it up here on this using that stout wire hanger that I have. All right, even though I've got the caliper hanging wire ready to go up here on the upper control arm, you technically don't need to unbolt this to get your brake pads out. I'm going to try to use the screwdriver method to push these out, you know, being careful not to impact the disc itself, the rotor. And certainly I'm going to clean this all up, and we're going to grease these pins, these retainer pins for the caliper, for the pads themselves, and put all the new wires in. We're going to do all that, but that's assuming And we'll do it on the vehicle, on the caliper itself, assuming we can get this pulled apart appropriately. So let's take a run at that first. All right, let's see if these comes out of here just fine. It's tucked in there into that hole. That's a retainer clip for these pins. These pins are coming out no problem. We're going to clean those up and put a little caliper grease on them. Clean them up with some brake clean. And then this retainer clip for the pads themselves. Let's see, we'll make a little progress here. I can get these to come out. If not, I've got this 5 bananas press that will be just fine. That's interesting. That's loose in there. That's not supposed to be loose. Look at that. Came right off the pad itself. Well, for nothing else, that gives us a little bit of room. To compress the pads. And this one's still tight on there on that side, so that's it's not gonna give us that same room advantage that we had. Let's see. So that one's loose. Take that one out. That is a Toyota OEM pad. It's interesting. Wouldn't have expected that to just come loose on there like that. It's too bad. There we go. Whoops. Sorry for the bump. All right, so now that does give us the room. She comes. Not a lot of room left right there. So, even though quite a bit of pad material, we could take it down a little bit further, but that's okay. We're changing them now. See here, I've got this just hooked into this spring here, and that just goes through one of the bolt holes, and then that caliper's, the weight is off this brake line. So I'm just sort of jacking around with my 5 bananas. It's sort of bananas. So these plates that go on this one, if you take these off, the calipers are almost at the full extension of this, all the way to the full extension. So if you put these back on, starting to lose it again, put those back on, and just put them in here, one each. Oops. It's supposed to start ratcheting here. And it's not doing that for me. Let's see. There we go. Maybe that'll do it.
Now we're putting pressure on it. Now that bottom piston's moving, which is what I needed. Okay, that bottom piston's fully retracted. And that bottom piston's retracting. Okay. By hook or crook. Kind of goofy how you had to do that instead of putting it in this way, but that worked ultimately. All right, so we're gonna put this caliper back on here, and this top caliper nut or bolt will go in here, but I'm gonna hit it with a little bit of this Loctite, removable Loctite, just a little bit. You don't have to overdo it. Whoops, just overdid it a little bit. There we go. I have that ready to go right here. I have this one ready to go as well. Just a little bit. And I already cleaned up this caliper with the wire brush on the inside here, being careful not to get these rubber pistons scored. So I did the top and bottom, and they're ready to go. So let's undo this, our little modified homegrown hanger. And then let's just put this top bolt in and hold it. It looks like the torque settings that I was able to find were 73 foot-pounds, I believe, is what we're gonna do. We're catching here. No, we are catching. Okay. We're gonna torque those down here in a minute. Let's get the bottom one in. Yeah, put a little too much heat on that one. Let's undo it. Okay. Now we can put a little spin on this bottom one. All right. So this is the outside pad. Oops. Outside pad. That's going to go in there like that. But I'm going to put a little bit of grease here on this side, here on top, and here, not to get the pad surface. And then we'll slide that in. So I'm just using this caliper grease. Picked it up from a local automotive store. Just a little, no need to put a ton. This is surface that is metal to metal and moves around a little bit. Okay. Not sure how that got in there. Oh, and you can also put just a little bit here to this bottom surface, because the pads are also going to move off of that. And that'll potentially take some of the noise, perhaps. Let's see. Just need to tap that in a little bit. We need to get it to that retainer clip spot, about right there. Okay. And then the inside pad has that little screamer clip right there. When the wear gets down too low, it'll contact the rotor and start to scream. So we're going to put that in on that side, but we'll do the same. A little bit of grease here. A little bit here on this side as well, where it goes metal to metal. Okay. And that goes in like that. Oops. Yeah, that screamer thing was down, is down. I don't know, actually it's up on this one. Interesting. I'm going to compare that to the other one I have in the kit just to make sure that's correct. This is for the other side. Yeah, that's interesting because that is on top and the one I took out was on bottom. So that fits. So I wonder if these are side specific. Anyway, it came out on the bottom. So I'm going to put this one back in on the bottom. That's interesting. Okay. I'm going to put it back on the bottom. Now, these caliper slide pins, we'll put just a little bit of grease on those as well, not a ton. And then we'll get the retaining clip in here. And this one is in too far. It's okay. Just pull that caliper back out a bit so that the slide pin will fit all the way in there. Okay, looks like that's a good spot. So let's see. She's in. And that one just wants to slide all the way in. There we go. And we're in. Now we can get this other slide pin in. That's all the way in, and then we're going to take this final clip here. So I'm going to rotate your Actually, it'd be better without these gloves on because they're slipping and sliding around in my hands. Find the hole for this clip to go into. Okay, there we go. And then put it into that top slide pin. Okay, those are both in, and then you push this little retention clip down and into the hole right there. And you're done. Just make sure you take any of the excess goop off, because there's no need for that other than to make a greater mess and attract dirt. And you can put the wheel back on. All right, nearly forgot. You got to put your torque wrench on here and get your 73 foot-pounds done. So we're there. And on the bottom one, 73 foot-pounds. Okay, and we're there. All right, now you can put your wheel back on. Okay. All right, let's let her down. And on to the other side. And I'm just going to take it up just before it's off the ground. Okay. So we can spin off the lug nuts. Away we go. So it would be interesting if we could pull this off without having to take the caliper off this time. Let's just see. Wow, these clips look a lot newer And that other side. Nice. Okay. If I can get these to slide out again. Yeah, nice. That gives me a little bit of the room I need to maybe use the screwdriver method of pushing the go. Screwdriver method seems to be working, which is great. We'll see when we're done here. Actually, 2 screwdrivers are needed because it keeps pushing one side to the other. Okay. Now, this is the inside. Let's see where that wear screamer is. It's on the bottom. Interesting. Okay. I'm going to do a little bit of grinding of some of this dust, get this cleaned up and ready to put the new pads in. It's just that quick. I will say, with the caliper off, it's easier to clean for sure. So that was the bottom one, and this is already greased. Getting awfully close right there. Let's clean that up. Getting dog hair on my stuff. Got dog hair everywhere. It's crazy. All right, so that one goes in that way. Nope. Take it easy. Goes in like that. Okay. Put that one right there. Okay. That one's in. And then before we push this one in, let's get our clip ready to go for that one. Oops. There, it's in there. And get that into that hole, and the same in the other hole on this side. And make sure your slide pins retain or go through the loop that's on that clip, so it's fully held the way it's supposed to. And then to hold the whole thing together, get your little pin on the back side here. You may have to turn it to find it. Wow, there it is. And I can see this one right here, but I need to turn that slightly. There's a hole right there. There, now they're in. And we're going to take this one and push it right through the hole. Just double check that, press it, make sure those clips are in the appropriate holes, and then that's locked. And that's it. We're done with that one. In that case, we didn't have to take this caliper out, and we used the screwdriver method, pushing on both sides at the same time to get the pistons to go all the way back. And it's time to put the wheel back on. That one went quick. Well, there's only so much abuse these gloves can take. All right, gang, there you have it. That's the 2017 Lexus LX570 front brake pads, replace of the pads. And this would also work for a 200 series, and many of the similar components exist on many other vehicles. So you see just how easy it is to make those brake pad changes. Now, as you saw in the case of the passenger side, I had to take the whole caliper off because I was having a little bit of an issue expanding those hydraulic pucks back into the brake calipers. But no problem, got those off, took a little bit more time, and then on the driver's side, it went very quickly as I think I became a little bit more experienced with how to pull those pads out and then separate them using the screwdriver method, putting pressure on both screwdrivers at the same time. So I think I paid, yeah, I had to check. Those are ceramic brake pads, paid under $100 for those. And in my time, I'm retired now. For me, that's a significant savings. If you go to a Lexus dealership, Toyota dealership, you're gonna spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Go to a brake specific store, you're gonna spend less than a new vehicle, new car store, but you're still gonna spend hundreds of dollars. So in my case, it's just my time. So under $100 to get the brake job done. And very easy to do, in my opinion, assuming you have the equipment, the tools, and the supplies to do it. And if not, maybe you can borrow them from a friend or a neighbor. But this is all about saving a little bit of money in a time when prices are just through the roof in general. So hopefully you enjoyed this video, learned a little something from it along the way. Maybe you get a little kick out of it. Please like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to OG DIY. More videos to come. Thanks. Be good. Bye-bye.